Mav Hoffa goes to war with Esso and Heineken.
Ain't nobody blocking nobody but you.
I don't block no.
I was so shocked because I really thought we was friends. I really thought we was.
So where did the problem come in?
The problem came in when you stopped calling us to come on the show.
After you introduced me to them people that was supposed to be from Revolt, and I found out they wasn't, I was looking at you funny.
Man, you turned down Bagfuel to my face.
I did.
You asked us to do a show. I know that's cat. I'm not gonna sit here and let him cat no more.
I'm not.
If it was so big, you wouldn't have blocked us from Corner Lab if you were so confident. Don't block.
Yes, you
Black
did.
confident. Don't block.
That's right. On the last episode of Angela Yee's Lip Service, Mav showed up and confronted Esso and Heineken. Now, this was the real showdown. Yesterday, I did a video highlighting an Instagram clip of the three men facing off, but it actually migrated from an episode of Lip Service where they aired out their grievances about their breakup, and a lot was revealed, so I'm going to break it down. First off, this starts with them focusing on their breakup. Remember Bagfuel, Esso, Heineken, they used to be on My Expert Opinion, and the show was the best when Esso, Heineken, and Mav were together. Both of their platforms are not even close to what they used to be after their separation, and things pop off when Mav accuses Esso and Heineken of stopping Jim Jones from being on My Expert Opinion. Now, this is something that is a well-kept secret not even a well-kept secret in the marketscape of the New York City podcasting ecosystem. There's a lot of blocking being done on a lot of platforms where certain people can't interview here, certain people can't go over there, and this is what Mav is accusing them of. But Esso, who was the most heated, brings up Quarter Lab. So for those of you that don't know, Quarter Lab is like this agency that people hire to protect their content, copyright content. Sometimes they're a little aggressive, and I must say that Esso, not Esso, Mav, Joe Budden, they're signed to Quarter Lab, and they often also smacking URL, they're signed to Quarter Lab, and Quarter Lab often targets people using the content of those three creators and other folks in order to claim copyright. Apparently, Mav blocked Esso and Heineken from signing to Quarter Lab because Mav is signed to Quarter Lab, and it appears Esso and Heineken wanted to be on that network so they could hire Quarter Lab to flag people for using their content. That usually, I think that works where they flag someone's content, they take a percentage, and then take that percentage and give it to the original creator. That's that business model. Then Mav says he misses Esso and Heineken, but Esso calls cap. I think that's accurate. I don't think Mav misses Esso and Heineken. What he misses is the analytics and the revenue. I'm sure he knows that his show has lost a lot of cultural value because there was a time when My Expert Opinion was being touted as the new Joe Budden podcast. Not saying it was true, but he was the man. And ever since Esso and Heineken have left, that's not the case. Sure, the show is going fine, but there's no real moments. There's no Tony Yayos. There's none of that. Then Esso says that he thought Mav and him were friends, but the way he treated them in regards to the money was crazy. Esso says issues occurred when Mav stopped calling Bagfield to be on My Expert Opinion. This is something that Space said on my podcast, that Mav just stopped all contact with Esso and Heineken once things started getting wonky instead of coming to the table and trying to figure things out. Then Mav gets into how Esso and Heineken connected him with a faulty Revolt deal that was involving some type of fake middleman, and this is a big part of the fallout. Apparently there was a Revolt deal that was worth $2.7 million, and Mav says that Esso and Heineken tried to middleman him, but then Esso and Heineken revealed that the person who brought that deal to the table was actually someone Mav used to secure a French Montana deal, so that's why the deal was actually true and not some type of backdoor type of situation. Then Esso says Mav refused to bring Bagfuel to his network, and Mav told him that nobody wanted him to see that. Now, that's interesting. I think this is fascinating because Bagfuel is actually a good podcast. I think Bagfuel is very smaller than my expert opinion, but it's still a big deal. So it's wild that Math didn't want that show on his network because I think it would have been a big look for his business status. And instead, Math wanted Esso and Heineken to create a new show. And I wonder if there's a reason for that. Perhaps he didn't want someone who created IP to have IP on his channel because then it wouldn't be able to be argued that he was the one who created it. And, that gets into murky contract areas. Then Heineken says, then Esso kind of drops the hammer and says Mav begged him to manage his music. Now, I must say, it looked like Mav was very much begging Esso to manage his music. And I think Mav needs to make a choice. It's time we have that conversation. Mav is still trying to do music. And I'm not saying he should stop. But I feel like it's hurting his podcast. I don't know why his podcast starts with his music. Just start with the content. I think that's killing retention. People that love your music can love your music somewhere else. You can plug your music middle of the show if you want, but nobody wants to listen. There's people who are just fans of my expert opinion and don't care for your music. So it's time to separate the two. And on top of that, go look at Joe. Joe decided one day, content creation, that's all I want to do. Math needs to make that choice. Then Esso says Angela Yee set him up. And she definitely did. She just said, she didn't even really say anything in terms of, no, I didn't set you up. She just kind of like, nah, I didn't set you up, but didn't really provide reasoning as to why there's evidence that she didn't set it. Math just appears on camera out of nowhere. Kind of crazy. And then the Quarter Lab thing gets brought up again. Mav says he didn't block them from signing to Quarter Lab. I gotta tell you, a lot of these guys, I'm not saying this is the case with Mav, but this is just how I observe it. They're all lying, man. They all playing the block game. A lot of these dudes is doing that, man. A lot of these dudes like Flip, like Mav, they like to play gatekeeper. You know why? Because people played gatekeeper with them. Math was blocked by URL. Math wasn't allowed in certain venues after he went upside Sirius Jones' head. And he remembered that, and I think that rubbed off on him. And yeah, I'm sure he did block Esso and Heineken from signing the Core Lab, which is a weird thing because it's literally just business. There's no reason to block that. Why are you stopping Esso and Heineken from having a company flag other people to protect their copyright, or I would say actually take advantage of the copyright laws? But this episode was good, and it happens towards the last 15 minutes of Angela Yee's podcast. Shout out to Angela Yee. She set Esso and Heineken up. I don't care what she says, but kind of wild, y'all. Kind of wild. But let me know what you think. I believe Math, Esso, and Heineken should get back together, do one podcast a week, and then let Bagfuel continue to exist. There's nothing wrong with the two of them doing the same podcast at the same time, but I just think this reunion is going to be short-lived. I don't think they trust each other, and the ego now is too big. I don't think Esso, I'm be honest, I don't think Esso thinks Math can tie his sneakers with as far as intellect. So I believe Esso is always going to argue Math down. I don't think Esso can take a backseat to Math, and Math is the star. So it's going to take a breaking in, a conversation. But maybe now they can because they have their own platform where they can get their stuff off in Bagfield that's very successful. But let me know what you think in the comments. This breakup just keeps giving, y'all. Follow me on Instagram, The Stop TV. Follow me on Twitter, The Stop TV. Follow me on Patreon, The Stop TV. This is Danny from The Stop. Peace.